Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning for ICAD's 2020 annual meeting and campaign launch. On behalf of our whole team, Tom, Aaron, and Liz, we are grateful you chose to join us as we share ICAD's vision for the future. Please take advantage of the free Chomp delivery code throughout the day to help support our local restaurant community. That delivery code is ICAD, ICAD, and we're doing this in lieu of the event ticket cost. Thank you for helping support our local economy. Additionally, throughout the meeting today, we have a live illustration being done from a friend in the UK. She will be capturing our meeting in a visual illustration that we will share with you following the meeting. Without question, the past 8 months have been challenging for all of us as individuals and certainly as a business community. But today is about looking forward to what is possible. Our team would like to share our perspective on what the future has to offer in our campaign video. I think for me, designing the future is all about looking forward and deciding how we can come together in an inclusive way to really be a place where everyone can thrive.
We've had to kind of change our look right now and really focus more internally, kind of have a gut check and really understand what our challenges are, what our needs are, and then rolling up our sleeves and doing the work we need to do to come out ahead and in a better position.
Our resiliency comes from our strength within, and I think that our community is already very resilient. We've been through a lot. We're able to adapt and change. While we talk about recovery, we actually are going to be talking more about reimagining.
Change was just happening at such a fast pace that we decided to begin the Project Better Together project. There will be big challenges ahead, no doubt, but I think just having built up some trust, share information, have honest conversations, which right now is really important, that we all acknowledge the realities that exist.
One of the big assets I think ICAD has is the team and the leadership, and their passion about making the space and place around them better and really caring and bringing people together.
At the end of the day, we are focused on helping our companies thrive ultimately in this region, whether it be attraction or development of workforce, expanding their existing operations, or helping that new startup.
We also support just entrepreneurs in general through our Merge co-working space. We have 16 private offices that provide an affordable place for entrepreneurs to get their feet off the ground and help them grow.
There seems to be a strong community feeling here, people that want to help, that can collaborate.
We ask the difficult questions, hopefully before they have challenges arise.
We've been having some great conversations with our Black leaders about how we can do better when it comes to attracting talent, retaining talent. It really comes down to connecting young people with businesses early. So through job shadows, internships, ICAD's really worked alongside our partners to ensure that we have more kids taking advantage of that.
Still very much regionally focused with our partners to the north, with the EA and the Economic Alliance, and I think that's going to be crucial for us as we continue to grow in our communities.
I think we've done and have a strong history in entrepreneurship, specifically in the areas of ed tech and educational assessment, as well as medical technologies. I see those as continued opportunities for us to build and grow upon kind of the history, but also pioneer what's next for this region.
It is a critical time for education to be reimagined and to look beyond what was and think about what can be. And I think Iowa City is the perfect place for those conversations to be had.
The opportunity really lies in this idea of what could it look like? What could it look like? And then paint that picture, that vision for what we would like it to be.
The more active people are and the more engaged they are in a community, biking to work, biking for fun, the more likely they are to stay here and to make our community thrive.
As a bank, we need a thriving community to be successful, and ICAD's, I think, very supportive of that.
The challenges for us are great, and we're looking for support so that we can be one of the key organizations that helps us move forward and rebuild and reimagine the future. While it's been daunting to take this position on at this time, I think as an organization, we are up for the challenge. We are hopeful to have the resources we need to be able to do that, and the partnerships that will be required to be able to help this community not only recover, but reimagine and be even better. This moment in history requires bold and innovative action. Knowing the challenges that lie ahead, we know the time has come for us to harness our entrepreneurial spirit to forge a path that will empower and inspire the Johnson County region to build a new, agile economic blueprint that will position us for the future. We cannot do this important work without the support of our investors and partners. We believe in this community and operate with our investors and clients' best interests at heart. With your continued support, ICAD will work in partnership to help drive innovation and impact the future success of our region. Today, we are formally launching our 3-year, $3 million Designing Our Future campaign for economic recovery and resilience. Over the course of the next 3 years, we will focus on 3 key areas: community development, business development and innovation, and developing people. We believe these are foundational for our long-term stability and growth. The key to a successful organization is always an engaged and supportive board of directors. We're very lucky to have that type of leadership from the ICAD board. At this time, I'd like to introduce ICAD's board chair, Todd Means, Regional President for Midwest One.
Thank you, Kate. I want to echo Kate's comments. I've heard many times over the course of 2020, you can't write a playbook for this. From pandemic to unrest this summer and the derecho, what a year it's been. I had a conversation with Kate and the ICAD team earlier this summer. I reminded them of the floods and the tornado and the resiliency of our community coming together and responding during those times. Today's current events provide opportunities to be ever better. A great example of this is the quick collaboration of Project Better Together. We've already observed positive impact to our community, whether it's the dollars injected into local businesses through the gift card program or the Nest in support of our children's education. These are just 2 examples of the start to recovery. Our community needs strong leadership and creative ideas during these extraordinary times. Through Kate's leadership and the entire team of ICAD, it's time to roll up our sleeves and press forward. Working together, I'm confident our community will be ever better. Before I hand it back to Kate, I'd like to thank a few individuals. First, Mark Nolte for his 13 years of past leadership and continued support through Project Better Together. Our board of directors for their continued involvement, support, and feedback. The ICAD team, Kate, Tom, Aaron, Liz, and Tim for their dedication to our community, especially through the summer's events this year. Last, thank you to our investors. Your support now may be more important than ever before. I'll hand it back to Kate.
Thank you for your ongoing support and guidance, Todd. I also want to acknowledge my predecessor, Mark Nolte, and thank him for his leadership. I formally took on the role of president on April 9th, shortly after COVID hit our nation and the economy began to shut down. I readily admit it was daunting as there was so much uncertainty. A few weeks in, my colleagues Kim Casco, Josh Hamburger, and Nancy Bird and I began meeting regularly to determine how best we could join forces and support the business community and community at large. I'm so grateful for their partnership and what has evolved into Project Better Together. Our collaborative communication effort has pivoted into a partnership aimed at building a transformed future for our community with greater economic diversity, growth, inclusivity, resilience, and well-being for all. ICAD is a proud co-founder with partners from the Iowa City Downtown District, the Business Partnership, and Think Iowa City in a community-wide recovery effort led by project manager Mark Nolte. This effort includes leaders from all 3 hospitals, the school district, Kirkwood, the University of Iowa, area nonprofits, social services, private business, and elected officials from all levels of government. We meet every week to address urgent challenges, and together we're taking on initiatives including local food security, homelessness and housing efforts, internet access, community support for online learning, and BIPOC business support. Through Project Better Together, we have jointly provided 15 State of the Community webinars, business surveys, a weekly joint newsletter, and a resource-rich website, icareatogether.com. Additionally, with the Johnson County-wide Holding Our Own Buy Local gift card campaign that generated nearly $500,000 in spending and allowed us to grant 33 BIPOC businesses $52,000 in business support with the help of our financial institutions, the cities, and the county. As part of our economic recovery effort, we know that we must be inclusive and support creation and growth of BIPOC businesses. Additionally, last year we added 2 new companies to our Johnson County area. Goodwill Industries opened a processing plant under the leadership of Jessica Schamberger, and Amazon opened as well. We recognize that the majority of our economic growth stems from our existing companies. In our recent existing industry interviews, we were optimistic that many of our industries are still growing and expanding operations. Companies like Integrated DNA Technologies have been center stage in providing COVID testing kits to address the pandemic. Kohl's Quality Foods has increased operations to meet the food demand, and Pear Deck, a local ed tech company, added 100,000 new teachers to their platform in May alone, just to name a few. The summer brought other challenges with the amplification of social injustice and inequality, as well as the impact of an unprecedented derecho. We continue to work collectively with our Black leaders to ensure we are looking at systems and better incorporating diversity efforts into our work. We were brought together as a region to help our partners to the north respond to the derecho disaster. Our team spent numerous hours cutting down trees, feeding those in need, and providing support with our partners. We were proud to assist Doug Newman and the EA and the City of Cedar Rapids as they face this unprecedented crisis. The pandemic has also created challenges for our local education systems, K-12, Kirkwood, and the University of Iowa. ICAD is committed to supporting workforce and education as an integral part of community development. The need for online learning has the potential to create a divide for our students. And in partnership, we are supporting the Neighborhood Nest model and improving internet access for families. Strong public education will continue to be a draw for people looking to relocate, given the rise in remote working. It is a critical long-term strategy for a prepared workforce. The partnership with IC Our Future is a regional effort to grow our future workforce. We are grateful to Jennifer Daly at ICR Iowa for her partnership to regionally attract workforce talent. Workforce remains a critical component of our work and is key to supporting our company's growth. We also believe there is great potential in the ed tech sector that ICAD is working to grow in our region and statewide. We will continue to look at ways to support the growth of our interstate commerce companies and attract new companies with targeted strategies around med and ed tech. I'm very proud of this team and the commitment they have shown to our community. I have asked them to share the work they are most passionate about. At this time, I'd like to introduce Tom Banta, ICAD's newly appointed Vice President and Director of Strategic Growth.
Thanks, Kate. Good morning, everybody. What a year. 2020 has been the longest decade of my life. At least it has felt that way at times. VUCA, V-U-C-A, is a term that I've become aware of that I believe sums it up well. And VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. It's a space that very few of us feel comfortable in, but it is inside this discomfort that I believe opportunity and growth emerge. That said, I believe we are uniquely positioned to maximize these opportunities, largely due to our continued investment and implementation of strategic doing. It brings an agile approach to strategy that allows us to quickly adapt to the rapidly changing environment we find ourselves. It convenes community stakeholders for deep, meaningful conversations to address the complex challenges that lie ahead. It builds trust through collaboration and gives us a platform to design and create the future we want to see. It has become an integral part of our Project Better Together work, especially in the areas of food insecurity, housing and homelessness, BIPOC businesses, and in collaboration with the childcare efforts being led by the business partnership. This is messy and challenging work, but it's critical to providing a solid foundation in which our community and economy can thrive. As I reflect on the past year, the nature of our work has not materially changed, but the environment in which we operate has. We remain focused on supporting interstate commerce companies in the areas of existing industry, workforce, business attraction, entrepreneurship, and community development. Existing industry, as Kate mentioned, is the lifeblood of our community and economy. We spent much of April and May engaging our local leaders via our annual synchronous surveys, and the result of those conversations left me far more optimistic than I had anticipated. I quickly learned how innovative and resilient our companies are. I also learned that growth was occurring in more places than my hair and waistline. Companies like IDT, P&G, Kohl's, and UNFI were actively hiring, and in some cases could not hire fast enough to meet their customer demand. New product innovation occurred in companies like Stivco, and the expansion of new lines of business for companies like P&G with the announcement of EC30. The move from in-person to virtual engagements expanded market opportunities for ProCircular, while Pear Deck attracted millions of new users almost overnight as their technology solutions became essential tools for global educators and learners alike. Not to mention the critical role IDT is playing in helping the world address this pandemic. The above represent a sampling of the impact our companies have on the world in the areas of healthcare, education, and food. 3 industries poised to drive growth and prosperity in the region for years to come. Workforce. If existing industry is the lifeblood, then the individuals that make up the workforce are the heart that keep it flowing. Though top lines and bottom lines have been impacted in various ways, I feel our workforce has seen the most disruption to date. Almost overnight, organizations were forced into a work-from-home environment, whether they were ready for it or not. Business and HR leaders were in uncharted territory as they explored ways to maintain employee engagement and productivity, which over time transitioned to employee health and well-being. Most organizations have adapted nicely and have found some silver lining in this new landscape. It will have a lasting impact on real estate and how companies look to grow and expand going forward. It also opens up new remote work and workforce recruitment opportunities, which require new ways of thinking and doing business. Skills-based hiring is another opportunity. Similar to strategic doing, I feel like we are well positioned to support our companies looking to make this transition as a result of our partnership with Skillful. As our unemployment rate continues to trend down, currently around 5.8%, much of the available workforce possesses transferable skills, but their industry-specific experience may be lacking. Many of them from a hospitality or retail background that the traditional recruiting approach can easily overlook. Skillful can play a role in changing that. It helps to eliminate the unintentional bias that exists in our current processes, which limits companies' ability to attract and retain diverse talent. By focusing on skills, it also starts to identify skills gaps that exist, as well as provide a roadmap for future skill development opportunities. This helps to create alignment for our partners in our K-12 system, our partners at Kirkwood and the university, along with the other higher ed institutions in the region, allowing them to build programs to address these gaps. I invite the employers on this call to connect with me to explore what this looks like for your organization. Business attraction and entrepreneurship. The high quality of life, population growth, and educated workforce continue to make us an attractive place to locate, grow, and start a business. Kate mentioned a couple organizations that chose to locate here in the past year, and we continue to market externally with our partners at ICR to create awareness and build the funnel of opportunities. The makeup of that funnel is largely comprised of industrial type opportunities, which don't always align with the assets we have to offer or the direction we see our economy moving. Not all projects are good projects for our community. That said, we remain focused on vigorously pursuing those opportunities that are, which can be largely reflected in the quality of jobs that they create. We also realize that the history and strength of our economy has largely been built on the backs of entrepreneurs. ACT, IDT, Pear Deck, MediRev, Leapfrog, IDX, and the list goes on. That is why we see great opportunity with the formation of the Iowa EdTech Collaborative that we've been given the opportunity to lead on behalf of the state. This is a market segment that is forecasted to grow from $160 billion today to over $1 trillion in the next 8 years. I look forward to obtaining our unfair share of that, and Liz will share more on how we are positioning ourselves to do so. I'll close with a thank you to all of our investors for your continued support, an acknowledgement of all the business leaders in our community that have stepped up and showed up during these difficult times. and an invitation to join us in this messy discomfort we find ourselves, which requires us to think, speak, and behave differently to create the future we want to see. I look forward to the journey. With that, it's my pleasure to introduce my friend and colleague, Erin Potabaum, our Director of Operations, AKA Co-working Queen.
Good morning. Thank you, Tom. In the rapidly changing age of remote working, the importance of reliable, high-speed internet, merge and co-work at 808 are more relevant than ever in 2020. Thank you to IMON Communications for their superior Wi-Fi support and the support for our local community during these challenging times. After derecho on August 10th, Merge never lost power or internet services. We were able to assist many locals and several from Cedar Rapids that needed access to power and internet to continue working when they were unable to work from their home or office. Currently, Merge and 808 are open to members only. It is our top priority to keep our members and communities safe. The majority of our members are entrepreneurs and startups, but the number of remote workers increases weekly. Thanks to our partnerships and current members, our facilities have been able to financially break even month after month and continue to offer safe and socially distant, affordable workspaces for our members. Memberships include more than just an office or a desk space. We provide opportunities for virtual collaboration, advice on how to pivot and adapt during the pandemic, and resources to PPP and access to additional grants and funding to keep our businesses surviving and thriving in our community. Our Merge members have shown resilience and perseverance since the beginning of the pandemic. In March, as PPE was in high demand, Proto Studios quickly stepped up to create and produce 3D printed face shields, using the Merge space for packaging until they outgrew the space and to simplify logistics, moved to the BioVenture Center in Coralville. Leon, one of our Co-work at 808 members, was part of a large group of community members that also put their 3D printers to use, creating face shields to get them to frontline and essential workers in the early days of the pandemic. Other Merge businesses pivoted and found ways to stay relevant. JourneyMap repositioned to focus primarily on healthcare, what founder and CEO John Corrigan calls a purposeful shift. After a busy summer working with several Tippy interns on healthcare, his pipeline is now beginning to fill with new business. In April, Matt Arnold with Spark Consulting Group began producing the Iowa Idea podcast. The Iowa Idea podcast covers craft, creativity, collaboration, and innovation from Iowa natives, transplants, and those with an affinity for the Iowa idea. As of today, he has 42 episodes and hundreds of followers. Sky Mercer with Sky HR Consulting stepped up to offer her services to local businesses facing HR challenges at the beginning of the pandemic, offering a free e-guide on how to write a compliant work from home policy, assisting companies with change management, organizational design, restructuring and downsizing, virtually hiring and managing remote workers, other HR policies, and so much more. Sky has also taken on a role with our local Small Business Development Center at Kirkwood, and she is doing work that she calls very rewarding. These are just a few of the many examples of resiliency within our Merge community. We are so proud of what Merge and Co-work at 808 have evolved into, with 20 of our 21 offices occupied between the two locations and co-working memberships in demand. Our goal when we opened was to help our local entrepreneur ecosystem and offer an innovative space for individuals to co-work. However, we've become so much more. We are a place for unexpected collaborations and friendships and a proven valuable resource for our members, clients, and our investors. While we are not currently hosting events at Merge these days, we do encourage you and your teams to join us for our Project Better Together webinars and various other online events as they become available. We continue to host 1 Million Cups virtually every Wednesday at 9 a.m. through Zoom and Facebook Live. Now more than ever, it is important to learn what we can do as a community to support these individuals and emerging companies. 1 Million Cups is possible through our partnerships with the Iowa City Area Business Partnership, JPEG, Public Space One, and other local volunteers. We look forward to when we can all meet at Merge again and to host meetings and events. Until then, send us a note if you wish to receive text notifications for virtual events and happenings, or to receive our weekly workforce wellness emails or our ICAD newsletter. We guarantee you will feel inspired and motivated after reading our newsletters and attending a virtual event. And now I would like to introduce our Director of Communications, someone who makes birdwatching look cool, and local cycling enthusiast, Liz Hubing.
Thank you, Erin. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. When asked to describe this past year, I keep returning to, things look a little different. Our team has evolved, the way in which we work has changed, and we've had to adapt our services and programs in ways that we've never had to before. However, with all of this change, our commitment to supporting our interstate commerce companies, our entrepreneurs, and our community has never wavered. This past year has brought closer collaborations with our partner economic development agencies. As Kate mentioned, at the beginning of the pandemic, ICAD, Think Iowa City, the Business Partnership, and the Iowa City Downtown District joined forces for a joint communications strategy. As ICAD's Director of Communications, this meant I was convening with the communications leads from our partner organizations throughout the week to discuss our community strategy for supporting our area's people and businesses during these difficult times. Quickly, we worked together to build a website, develop a joint newsletter, created a Shop Local campaign, and much more, including the bird watching video that Erin mentioned. Check it out, I'm a star now. Even as our community has reopened, we continue to work closely, meeting every week to discuss how we can address our community's evolving needs. I look forward to continue working with these individuals. Our team continues to support entrepreneurs through programming such as 1 Million Cups, the Women's Entrepreneur Lunch Series that we co-host with JPEC, and regularly communicate with entrepreneurs in our co-working spaces and beyond. This past March, we shifted all of our programming to a virtual setting. As Erin mentioned, we're proud to say that 1 Million Cups has continued to meet every Wednesday at 9 a.m. via Zoom. While many communities struggled to make the transition to an online format, the 1MC Iowa City community made a nearly seamless transition at the start of the pandemic. This summer, we heard from JPEC Summer Accelerator students, and we are making a conscious effort to make our space more welcoming and inclusive to entrepreneurs of all backgrounds. In March, we celebrated Women's History Month with a panel of female entrepreneurs from the Iowa City Downtown District. And this past month, we celebrated Hispanic Heritage Month by featuring Hispanic and Latinx entrepreneurs in our community. I'm very happy to say that yesterday marked a very first for our chapter, as we had a presenter present completely in Spanish, using an interpreter to share the story of how she started her in-home Mexican baked good business, Cachua's Cakes. We continue our partnership with JPEC for the Women's Entrepreneur Lunch events, hosting 2 events before the pandemic reached our community. One featuring Katie Brown of Katie Brown Marketing, and the other featuring a panel of women entrepreneurs. We're looking forward to continuing to host these events, and we plan on hosting a virtual one for Women's Entrepreneurship Week on Thursday, November 19th. More details on that to come. We've continued to partner with the Business Partnership and Think Iowa City to host a virtual LINK event, which stands for Local and Inspired, New and Curious. While we typically would meet at a local establishment for a free drink and social connections, this past spring we pivoted to an event over Zoom. This proved to be a much needed social interaction for people at the beginning of the quarantine. We hope to continue this event in the near future. As Tom mentioned, the past year, the Iowa EdTech Collaborative officially launched. I've had the pleasure of working with Tom and our partners to get this initiative off the ground. In addition to meeting regularly with the EdTech work groups, I worked with our partners at ACT to develop a logo and branding for the initiative. I also created and managed the initiative's website, edtechiowa.com, and social media accounts on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. I look forward to building our audience on these platforms and encourage you to check them out. They're all at EdTech Iowa. This past spring, the collaborative launched the first ever Iowa EdTech Accelerator, which was led by our partners, NewBoCo. The accelerator featured 4 Iowa-based companies. One was Tuition Fit, which brings transparency to the college search by showing the actual prices students pay at every college in America. Another was The Agenda Period, which helps women and girls understand and harness their unique cyclical patterns and use that understanding to increase productivity in their own lives and their businesses. The third was Apprenticeship America, which makes it easy for employers to create custom on-the-job training programs to fulfill their hiring needs. Last was IEP Equity, which provides secure software and neutral mediation, bringing families together and creating an individualized education plan. We're looking forward to seeing these companies grow right here in Iowa. Thank you to ACT for allowing this program to be housed on their campus, of course, until we had to move to an online format at the beginning of the quarantine. In addition to continuing our existing programs, we've added new programs and initiatives to meet the needs of our area's businesses and community members. At the beginning of the pandemic, our team quickly realized the importance of providing our companies with not only resources to support their well-being of the companies, but also the well-being of themselves and their employees. We swiftly launched our Workforce Wellness series, which featured a weekly workforce wellness newsletter, which we still continue today, a daily workforce wellness tip of the day via text message, a daily mindful meditation session led by our very own Tom Banta, and a daily Coffee and Calm event series, which was aimed to build social connections in the midst of the quarantine. After the murder of George Floyd, we quickly pivoted the Coffee and Calm series to be Coffee, Calm, and Community, which provided a safe space for business leaders and community members to share ideas and learn from one another about how our individual organizations can be better and do better as it relates to understanding systemic racism and allyship. We had some great discussions and thank everyone who joined us for these conversations. Our team strongly believes that diversity enriches our community, builds economic vitality, and uplifts our community as a whole. In August, we released a guide to Iowa City's Black-owned businesses. Our area's Black-owned businesses offer everything from sustainable self-care and spiritual goods to childcare and home improvement services. We encourage you to look at the list on our website and celebrate and support these locally owned businesses in our community. We also celebrated our diverse community this past September, hosting 2 Welcoming Week events. We partnered with Chomp to provide free food delivery for our area's immigrant-owned businesses and hosted a Chalk Your Walk with our partners that encouraged people to decorate their sidewalks with words and images of welcoming and belonging. Now, I'd like to bring Kate back up to talk about a new initiative we did this year, the Iowa City Area Resiliency Awards.
I am so very proud of this team's work, particularly over the last 8 months. As individuals, they have been exemplary at pivoting, thinking outside the box, and creating impact wherever possible. A special shout out to Tim Carty, who was part of our team until recently, leaving to pursue his own dream. When our team began talking about our annual meeting, we reflected on all of the positive things that have come from this difficult time. New and stronger partnerships, creative ideas, and a collective effort to meet challenges head on. These times call for resilience, vulnerability, a growth mindset, and a belief in our community and the future. I'd like to take a moment to thank all of our business leaders and community leaders that have risen to the occasion. These have been challenging times, to be sure, and your commitment and resilience does not go unnoticed. That discussion led to this year's idea for Resiliency Awards. Community members nominated individuals, organizations, businesses, and initiatives for this recognition. We want to celebrate those people and organizations that have exhibited that resilience with you today. Telling our stories helps us feel connected to others as we go through difficult times. Here's Liz to announce our award winners.
Thanks, Kate. From adapting business models during quarantine to helping support our communities in the aftermath of the derecho, this past year has forced businesses to become more resilient than ever before. We honored these companies and organizations and individuals for their efforts during these times. The first award is for a large company, and we're so happy to announce this goes to Procter & Gamble. At the very beginning of the pandemic, before any of us were even aware of what was to come, Procter & Gamble began putting precautions in place to ensure that their employees remain safe while continuing to produce the health and beauty products that many of us depend on in our day-to-day lives. But not only did they keep their own employees safe, they also shifted production so that they could produce hand sanitizer and PPE to help protect people around the country. I should mention, all while this was going on, they have continued to hire for various roles and have begun manufacturing a new innovative biodegradable product, EC30, that very well may change the way the world cleans our homes and our bodies. Congratulations and thank you, Procter & Gamble. Here's a short video to share how they're stepping up as a force for good. Next, we're going to present the award for Small Company and Startup, which we're happy to announce goes to Open Loop, formerly Apollo, and its founder, John Lenzing. Launched in January 2020, the Iowa-based business was already meeting a need in the regional medical community in its first few months of existence. At this time, Open Loop was beta testing their first product. In March 2020, the team stepped up to the public health need during the coronavirus pandemic by quickly repurposing their platform and launching nationwide overnight due to the great staffing shortages. As a result of COVID-19, their platform evolved to help hospitals by centralizing availability of medical providers, hosting job needs of hospitals, and connecting providers to open positions in hospitals. Over the course of 8 weeks, Open Loop grew from facilitating partnerships between 4 hospitals and 80 physicians to 25 hospitals and more than 700 providers from California to New York. Here's a short video to share more about their company and their services.
As COVID-19 spreads through our communities, it will overwhelm our hospitals and make it hard to deliver the care we all rely on. Now more than ever, we need all hands on deck to overcome this crisis. Apollo is a simple, secure, and easy-to-use platform that matches doctors, nurses, healthcare providers, and volunteers looking to help with hospitals and clinics in need of extra support. With Apollo, hospitals can quickly and easily hire employees to cover shifts, allow them to focus their efforts on healing patients and stopping COVID-19. Just go to apollohct.com. Tell us whether you're a medical provider looking to help or a facility in need of extra support, and our matching algorithm will do the rest. You can also view open roles, sort them by geographical area, and find providers in your area. Register at www.apollohct.com to help out our hurting nation, or simply share this video. COVID stops now.
The next Resiliency Award is for nonprofit, which we're so happy to announce goes to Dream City. Dream City pivoted their summer Rise Youth Leadership Program from in-person to online, offering a Workshop of the Day series focused on performing arts, the Black Lives Matter movement, community heroes, health and fitness, and more. Congratulations and thank you, Dream City. Here's a short video to share a little bit more about their organization.
Our number one thing is every one of our children will go either to a college or a trade school, no excuses. This is the Dream Center in Iowa City, and our mission here is to strengthen families, to change lives, and to restore hope. Our programs are specifically focused around helping young men and fathers make sure that they're being the best individuals they can be. We also spend a lot of time with both young men and young women, focusing on leadership, character building, and providing service within our community.
I really look at Fred as a liaison, trying to negotiate cultural competency within the school system. and being able to say, these are the barriers that are preventing this individual from reaching their full potential. And I think that without Fred, a lot of these youth would be lost to the system.
We just have to do a better job of making sure our young people understand that they matter and that we can't wait to see what they can bring to our community.
The next Resiliency Award is for an individual, which we're happy to pronounce is Rebecca Sanabria. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Rebecca had to transition her business from normal, as we know it, portrait photography to shooting beautiful pictures of families and small businesses outside of their front doors. The project, called Faces of Iowa Front Porch Project, offers portraits from a safe distance. Not only did she pivot her business, but she donated all of the proceeds from the project to Shelter House in Iowa City. Joy has been a hard thing to come by these days, but their portraits of smiling families and businesses outside of their front doors has been a nice relief during these challenging times. Congratulations and thank you, Rebecca. Here's a short video to share more about her project.
Rebecca Sanabria has stopped by over 100 porches during the pandemic, and each time she does one of these free photo shoots, she also collects donations for Shelter House in Iowa City, where staff say the money is very much needed. As the coronavirus pandemic got more serious in March, Shelter House knew it couldn't keep housing 70 people under one roof, and it needed a lot of help finding alternative housing solutions.
And that just really spoke to me, and I thought, oh, wow, that's whatever my situation is, because I was feeling anxiety, as I'm sure everybody was. I thought that was just, they needed help.
Rebecca Sanabria tried using her photography skills to help. She started reaching out on Facebook and found tons of people who wanted their quarantine history documented.
They want to have a photo that they can have for themselves to say, this is when we stayed home for 2 months plus.
The donations she receives at these shoots have helped pay for a 2-month stay at Shelter House for someone experiencing homelessness.
We are using it to support our everyday services that are costing more money and requiring a lot more effort.
She's been bringing people together while we're all apart.
And it's been really great to bring the community together.
And the last Resiliency Award is for a community project, which we're happy to present to Food with Love. Food with Love was launched as an emergency food relief program that matched community needs with professional chefs and hospitality experts that were looking for ways to help while their restaurants were closed because of the pandemic. Here's a short video to show a little bit more about this project.
That it's a pretty unique partnership for Iowa City restaurants, Pullman's, Big Grove, Deluxe Bakery, and St. Birch, all teaming up to take turns making at least 100 meals twice a week to give out to local nonprofits who've identified some need.
Whenever you're ready with the Food with Love pickup.
It's week 2 of Food with Love.
Today was turkey sandwiches with an apple and a little bag of chips. We did 209 of them today. There are people that are hungry, and we have the time, we have the resources, the generosity from some really awesome people.
Generosity of donations flowing in through the Community Foundation.
So far, we've raised $48,000, and all those dollars go directly to provide for the food that's being produced, so the meals can go out at cost.
There's no profit for the restaurants, but they still say it's a win-win.
We all live here, we're all from around here, and we see people and we know people that are in need as well.
Taking pressure off area food agencies that provide free meals.
Everyone's experiencing volunteer shortages because, at pretty much every nonprofit in the area, you have a good portion of your volunteers who are in that high-risk group.
The partners are running with the idea after being approached by 2 restaurant owners.
The program started with Nate Kading and Jamie Powers wanting to help restaurants stay busy, as well as wanting to get people in our community fed.
So far, Deloach estimates they've delivered more than 450 meals.
The name of the program is Food with Love because this is a gift of love to our community, that they love our area and they want to see folks fed and they want to see people actively taking care of one another.
Congratulations to these award winners and to all of them that were nominated for this award. We encourage you to visit our website, icadgroup.com, to view all of those that were nominated. We have 2 additional awards, which were given to 2 very special community members for going above and beyond in our community. The first award is the Tom Seelig Sizzle Award, which is presented annually to a community member who goes above and beyond as a community champion for economic development. The second award that we'll be showing is the inaugural Community Award, which is given to an individual who works day in and day out to build unity by bringing people together and creating a sense of belonging. We recorded the videos of these award presentations over the past 2 weeks, and there'll be remarks from those people as well. First, we'll see the Tom Seelig Sizzle Award.
So in 2017, no, get closer. Katie's part of my quarantine, just for the record.
Yeah, we eat at each other's houses all the time.
In 2017, ICAD presented the Tom Seelig with the inaugural Tom Seelig Sizzle Award for being a community champion for economic development. This award has been presented annually to a community member who goes above and beyond and a champion for economic development. Oh my God. This year, we chose an individual, ooh, I'm nervous, for the rapid response to the closure of Iowa City area businesses due to the pandemic. So not great. As our world quickly began to change, a late-night desperate plea from a business owner to a brilliant marketing professional resulted in the creation of a Facebook page, Iowa City Quarantine Survival Eats, Drinks, and Do's. Within 24 hours, they had 3,000 members in this Facebook group, which grew over to 13,000 in a short amount of time. Business owners quickly adapted and evolved on different ways to serve their clients and customers while staying safe. They now had a captive audience and a safe place to, oh my goodness, promote locally. Area businesses that had shuttered reopened and promoted carry-out and delivery options. New businesses emerged from baked goods to PPE. You'd often see posts like, I've learned so much about my community. I've lived here my whole life and never heard of these businesses. Shop local. Our community quickly came together, not only in support of local businesses, but made connections with one another through positive engagement and collaboration when we were isolated in our homes. Iowa City was able to survive and thrive during the most difficult of times thanks to the creation of this resource. On behalf of ICAD, I would like to present the 2020 Tom Seelig Sizzle Award to Katie Brown, the creator of Iowa City Quarantine Survival Eats, Drinks, and Do's.
I swear I can set this up here. Thank you.
Katie is the Chief Image Officer at Onward Bank Shares and the founder and CEO of Katie Brown Marketing. She is deeply involved in the Iowa City community, including supporting Iowa City's entrepreneurs. She has a soft spot for people creating their own place and space in the world for helping them find their voice. A wife to 1, a mom to 3, and 2 pups. My sister and a friend to all. Congratulations, Katie.
Thank you. That's what I did Facebook Live this, did you? I'd just like to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody who continues to support small businesses in the area. Thank you to everybody who has taught me to be a better human this year. A second generation entrepreneur turned entrepreneur and know the value of the dollar staying within our community. Thank you to our leadership, the entire ICAD group. Our community stepped up. The business owners stepped up to pivot the way they do business. The community stepped up to spend their dollars locally. Everyone became champions and advocates and influencers, and it was really incredible to be a part of. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you, most importantly, to Iowa City Area Development Group for all of the important work that you do. We are extremely lucky to have you.
ICAD, for our annual meeting, is giving out a couple very special community awards. And you, my friend, have been given the Community, Unity in capital letters, award for the Iowa City Area Development Group for this year. And it's an inaugural award because of your efforts to bring community together, to be there for people, to unite people, and to take care of people in this community and beyond. And so we are so grateful to have your voice and your leadership in this community. So we want to present you with the Community Builder.
Oh my God.
And we are taping all of these so that we can show people.
Oh, they got to see my face because I'm in tears. Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you. Oh.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Oh my God. I won't look.
And you wore your perfect sweatshirt.
I wore my perfect sweatshirt. Look at this. This is okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you guys.
You are so welcome.
Oh my God, this is so wonderful. The first person to receive the Community Builder 2020 Award. I am so grateful. I am so thankful. Thank you so very much for all of your support, all of your love. I have so many people behind me, and I couldn't do a lot of stuff without you guys. You guys really helped me this past couple of months. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you better together. We are much better together.
Congratulations, Katie and Royce-Ann. And once again, thank you so much for everything you do for our community. Now I'm going to bring up Kate to finish things off.
Thank you again for joining us today for the launching of Designing Our Future. It's so inspiring to see everything that our community has done over the last 8 months, the entrepreneurial spirit, the collaboration, the giving back. I especially want to thank our essential workers, our healthcare workers, for their commitment to this community and to our health. Together, we can look forward and design a future where all of us can thrive. By leveraging assets, looking for new strategic opportunities, supporting our local economy, and building jobs of the future, with your support, we will succeed. We are looking for 3-year campaign pledges by December 31st of this year to support our recovery and resiliency over the 3 years ahead. You can find more about the level of investment and the benefits of being an ICAD investor at icadcampaign.com. Thank you to our board member organizations that have already pledged their support for this campaign. Thanks to these early commitments, we are well on our way to our goal. Attendees will receive a follow-up email that includes our annual report, campaign materials, and the visual illustration from today's event. Thank you again for attending this morning. We are so appreciative of your support. We're going to close with our campaign video one more time. Stay well, everyone, and thank you. I think for me, designing the future is all about looking forward and deciding how we can come together in an inclusive way to really be a place where everyone can thrive.
We've had to kind of change our look right now and really focus more internally, kind of have a gut check and really understand what our challenges are, what our needs are, and then rolling up our sleeves and doing the work we need to do to come out ahead and in a better position.
Our resiliency comes from our strength within, and I think that our community is already very resilient. We've been through a lot. We're able to adapt and change. While we talk about recovery, we actually are going to be talking more about reimagining.
Change was just happening at such a fast pace that we decided to begin the Project Better Together project. There will be big challenges ahead, no doubt, but I think just having built up some trust, share information, have honest conversations, which right now is really important, that we all acknowledge the realities that exist.
One of the big assets I think ICAD has is the team and the leadership, and their passion about making the space and place around them better and really caring and bringing people together.
At the end of the day, we are focused on helping our companies thrive ultimately in this region, whether it be attraction or development of workforce, expanding their existing operations, or helping that new startup.
We also support just entrepreneurs in general through our Merge co-working space. We have 16 private offices that provide an affordable place for entrepreneurs to get their feet off the ground and help them grow.
There seems to be more, a strong community feeling here, people that want to help, that can collaborate.
We ask the difficult questions, hopefully before they have challenges arise.
We've been having some great conversations with our Black leaders about how we can do better when it comes to attracting talent, retaining talent. Really comes down to connecting young people with businesses early. So through job shadows, internships, ICAD's really worked alongside our partners to ensure that we have more kids taking advantage of that.
Still very much regionally focused with our partners to the north, with the EA and the Economic Alliance. And I think that's going to be crucial for us as we continue to grow in our communities.
I think we've done and have a strong history in entrepreneurship, specifically in the areas of ed tech and educational assessment, as well as medical technologies. I see those as continued opportunities for us to build and grow upon kind of the history, but also pioneer what's next for this region.
It is a critical time for education to be reimagined and to look beyond what was and think about what can be. And I think Iowa City is the perfect place for those conversations to be had.
The opportunity really lies in this idea of what could it look like? What could it look like? And then paint that picture, that vision for what we would like it to be.
The more active people are and the more engaged they are in a community, biking to work, biking for fun, the more likely they are to stay here and to make our community thrive.
As a bank, we need a thriving community to be successful, and ICAD's, I think, very supportive of that.
The challenges for us are great, and we're looking for support so that we can be one of the key organizations that helps us move forward and rebuild and reimagine the future. While it's been daunting to take this position on at this time, I think as an organization, we are up for the challenge. We are hopeful to have the resources we need to be able to do that, and the partnerships that will be required to be able to help this community not only recover, but reimagine and be even better.